Good morning, children. Thought for the day. Where there is a will, there is a way. With this thought, let's get started with the last chapter, Properties of a Magnet. Children, if you remember, in 6th standard, you have studied what is a magnet. The material to which objects made from iron, nickel, cobalt, etc. get attracted is called a magnet. This property of a material is called magnetism. Materials that stick to a magnet are called magnetic materials, while those that do not stick to a magnet are called non-magnetic materials. The metals iron, cobalt, and nickel are magnetic materials. In which direction does a freely suspended magnet settle? It settles in the north-south direction. What are the names given to the two ends of a magnet? And why are they named thus? North pole and south pole, and because the ends of the magnet always indicate the north and south direction respectively. Which metals are used for making magnets? Alloys of iron, cobalt, and nickel, or an alloy called nippermag made up of iron, nickel, aluminium, and titanium. An alloy alnico made up of aluminium, nickel, and cobalt. What are the characteristics of magnet? If you remember last year you have studied the characteristics of magnet. First, a freely suspended magnet always settles in the north-south direction. Second, objects made of iron, nickel and cobalt are attracted towards the magnet. Magnetic force is concentrated at the two ends or poles of a magnet. Third, if a magnet is divided into two parts, two independent magnets are formed. It means that the two poles of a magnet cannot be separated from each other. Fourth characteristic, a magnetic material acquires magnetism when placed near a magnet. This method is called induced magnetism. Sixth, there is repulsion between like poles of a magnet while there is attraction between the opposite poles. Magnetism. Here you have an activity where you have to place a steel bar AB on a table. Take a bar magnet, place its north pole on the A end of the steel bar and drag it towards the B end. Lift the bar magnet and drag its north pole from the end A to the end B of the steel bar again. Repeat this 15 to 20 times. Now take the steel bar near some iron filings and observe what happens. Hang the bar freely by a thread and observe. The steel bar will be seen to have developed magnetism. This method of magnetization is called the single touch method. The magnetism created by this method is of low strength and lasts for a short time. So this method is single touch method. You touch only the north pole and you begin from one end to the other. You go on rubbing in the same manner. In the second method, again you take place a steel bar on a table. Take two bar magnets here. Place two opposite poles of the two bar magnets at the center of the steel bar. Drag these poles apart, one to the A end of the steel bar and the other to the B end. And you have to repeat this 15 to 20 times. Now, take the steel bar near iron filings and observe. Hang the steel bar freely and again observe. So you find that iron filings they are attracted to the steel bar and the steel bar hangs freely in the north-south direction. This method of magnetization is called the double touch method because here you are using two bar magnets and two opposite poles are being used. The magnetism generated by this method lasts longer as compared to that generated by the single touch method. Why does a freely suspended magnet always settle in the north-south direction? It is inferred by the scientist William Gilbert that the earth itself is a gigantic magnet. Magnetic north pole of the earth is situated near its geographic south pole and the magnetic south pole of the earth is situated near the earth's north pole. Thus, when a magnet is suspended freely, the north pole of the magnet is attracted towards the Earth's magnetic south pole, located near the geographic north pole, and the south pole of the magnet is attracted toward the Earth's magnetic north pole, located near the geographic south pole. Hence, a freely suspended magnet comes to rest in north south direction. The scientist William Gilbert gave the scientific explanation based on the experimentation of the observation that a freely suspended magnet will always settle in the north south direction. He gave a round shape to a naturally occurring magnet rock. He suspended the spherical magnet so that it could turn freely and brought the north pole of a bar magnet near it. The south pole of the magnetic sphere was attracted towards it. Can you tell which magnetic poles attract each other? Opposite magnetic poles, unlike magnetic poles, they attract each other. And that means north pole of one magnet get attracted towards the south pole of the other magnet. Which pole of a spherical magnet will get attracted towards the south pole of the bar magnet? This we have already answered. It is again the north pole. Use your brain power. Which direction will a magnetic needle show on the geographic north pole? Think about it. Which direction will a magnetic needle show on the geographic north pole? The magnetic lines of force of the Earth's magnet are tangential to the ground at both the poles of the Earth. Therefore, the magnetic needle that can freely rotate would settle nearly vertical. That means it would settle nearly perpendicular to the ground. Its north pole would be towards the ground and south pole would be in the upward direction. Magnetic needle. Here in this activity, you have to take a square cardboard and mark the directions on it. Place a pot filled with water at the center of the cardboard. Take a magnetized needle, stick it to a small piece of a cardboard by means of a sticking tape. Place the piece of cardboard with the needle on the surface of water in the pot. In which direction does the magnetized needle point? Of course, it will point in the north-south direction. Find out in any place why does the magnetic needle of a compass not settle parallel to the ground but at an angle to it. We have just now discussed, but still you can find out why does this happen. Magnetic field. In the first activity, you have to take a bar magnet, pins, cardboard, iron filings, plastic bottle, bucket, water. You have to take a bar magnet, some pins, place them at such a distance from each other that they do not stick to each other. Slowly move the magnet towards the pin. Observe the pins as they get pulled to the magnet. The magnet attracts the needles from afar. In other words, a magnet has an effect even at a distance. In the next activity, take a small cardboard, place a bar magnet at its center, sprinkle iron filings on the cardboard around the magnet, tap the cardboard gently, observe the iron filings. What is the inference from the above experiments? The British researcher Michael Faraday named these lines going from one end of the bar magnet to the other magnetic lines of force. The region around a magnet where the magnetic force acts on an object is called a magnetic field. The magnetic field around a magnet can be shown by means of a magnetic lines of force. The intensity of the magnetic field at a place can be gauged by a number of lines of force that pass through a unit area at that place, perpendicular to that area. Michael Faraday imagined that there might be invisible lines of force going from one pole of a magnet to the other, and that magnetic attraction or repulsion might be taking place through the medium of these lines of force. If Faraday's idea is accepted, the intensity of the magnetic field can be obtained from the number of lines of force as explained above. The intensity of a magnetic field is low where the lines of force are sparse, and the intensity is high where the lines of force are concentrated. You can see here in the figure. Here also you can observe between the two poles north and south there is attraction, and between the same poles there is repulsion. The both the arrows they go in the same direction. Strong and weak magnetic field. If magnetic fields are very close to each other in a particular region, then the strength of magnetic field in that field is very large. If the magnetic fields are far away from each other in a particular region, then the strength of magnetic field in that region is very small or weak. Use your brain power. Is magnetic force a vector or a scalar quantity? Magnetic force has both magnitude and direction, and thus magnetic force is a vector quantity. Properties of magnetic lines of force. While proposing the concept of lines of force, Michael Faraday argued that if all the observed effects are to be explained satisfactorily, then the lines of force must have certain properties. Now let us discuss the properties of the magnetic lines of force.